Hi, welcome to the Heart of New York show. We got a great guest today and fascinating. Her name is Francesca Amato Banfield. For those who just meeting you, because I don't want to waste a minute here, we're loaded with good stuff here.
Yes, it's Punished for Protecting Incorporated, and I've been doing this work for over 18 and a half years. That is my business, Punished for Protecting Incorporated, and literally means exactly what you're hearing there. Multiple parents all over the entire country have been punished for protecting their children through family court and CPS, the agency called Child Protective Services. So that's the umbrella over everything else that I'm doing.
Now, why are parents being punished for protecting their children?
Gosh, it is awful. One of the things, and we've kind of discussed this on previous shows, one of the things that I've noticed within the family court arena and CPS, which I call Child Predator Services, is that it is the pipeline to child trafficking. It is the doorway, it is the gateway where they're getting these children into the whole foster care system, forced adoption. There's so much involved in the whole thing. And from my research and from years of being intricately involved in the family court, quote unquote, court watching courts all over the country, this is what I've learned over the years. I've been able to tie their own statistics through HHR, Health and Human Services, HHS rather, where I can show the statistics that they're literally where the children are coming from. So we have all this going on right now in this country with Epstein files, but this is literally showing where the pipeline is coming from. It's a multi-trillion-dollar business. So
when you mean it's the pipeline, where's the pipeline coming from?
It starts from the family court. So what they're doing is parents will go into family court.
Right.
One of the things I've seen over the years, clearly, because I do this firsthand, so I get to see it. So whatever you see on social media or the news with regards to what happens in the realm of family court, you'll see that there's parents that are there and there's opposition going on. And I've seen firsthand that there's usually one abusive parent in every family court case. And what the courts do in order to keep it going is that they'll give the children or the child over to the abusive parent and they will leave out the protective, which is where my name came from, Punished for Protecting. And my very first book, Punished for Protecting the Injustice System of Family Court. So when you switch kids over to an unprotected home or a dangerous home and they're actually being abused, and then there's, let's say, the next step is foster care, and they go through 20 different homes before they're adopted, just awful stuff happening to children, major trauma happening to children. When this happens, that's the pipeline that starts on the way to all this other stuff that you're seeing, like the Epstein files or just other stuff. There's so much child, I don't know how much I can say, but there's so much child trafficking going on, and that's the gateway door. That's how they're getting these kids. They're not just being stolen from a Walmart or your backyard. Not to say that doesn't happen, but they've got to be getting these kids from somewhere within our borders.
So hearing this is just, to me, it's just unbelievable, but this is going on today.
It is going on.
This is going on today. Mm-hmm. Now, what about, you mentioned something about medical kidnapping. What does this mean?
So medical kidnapping is when they don't give a parent the opportunity, like let's say a child has a fever, and I've seen something as minimal as a fever, where they've literally taken children from that parent because they want to get a second opinion on a fever. And they just take the children. I've seen them held at gunpoint in one case in Arizona at one time. I've seen some crazy stuff, and they call that medical kidnapping. They don't allow the parent to follow their own parental rights and get a second opinion or get an opinion at all from a medical doctor, find out what's going on with the child. They just take the children through Child Predator Services, and next thing you know, they find themselves in court. They don't have their children. The trauma alone is dangerous to the whole family, especially to the children that are developing. So let me explain to people that don't understand what exactly I mean by child trafficking through the family court system or foster care. So the moving of a body from one place to another against its will is a form of trafficking. It's not always necessarily that the children are being molested or that, and that is a part of it, of course, that is a huge part of it. But it's just the moving and the constant moving. Now, what we've learned over the years is that they're not doing the background checks on these families because it's a whole funneling of money. There's 4D funding, there's AFTRA, there's all kinds of financial compensation for taking people's children. Children have a dollar sign over their head. It's horrible. So this is all a part of trafficking. It's for money gain, and your product is a child. That's trafficking. So, and then all the worst things that can possibly happen to a child happen just from the mere taking from a biological family and switching to someone else's home is traumatic beyond words. But then all the other horrible things that happen to children. Now, let me touch on that a little bit further. So the families that they're not background checking, so they say that they're taking them to protect them from their biological family, and 9 times out of 10, I won't even say more than that, we're not finding anything wrong with these biological families at all. Where we're finding the problems is with the foster care system, with the forced adoption system, and it's not to say that there's some very nice families that adopt children. That does happen, obviously, we know that. But the majority of it, the largest percentage of it is going into homes that they're using these children for all kinds of stuff. Or they're just using them just to gain money through the system itself, where the children are never being treated the way they should be growing up. And the damages, like I said, is absolutely astronomical, that what's happening to these kids, so.
It's just unimaginable what's going on. But one thing I want to ask you is, what rights do the parents and the children have under federal law that are being ignored?
That's a beautiful question, and that's something else that we're doing too. I've been spending multiple, repeated times down in Washington, D.C. For the past several months, and I've been enforcing the 3 main components that family court is ignoring and has been for decades, which is our Constitution, federally, that's our Constitution, U.S. Constitution. Our Articles of Human Rights. Human rights are from birth on, and we believe that it's from the womb, right? But according to our Articles of Human Rights, it starts from birth on. And then the Americans with Disability Act, in which I'm a forensic ADA expert. And I do that because of all the disabilities that are caused through the family court, or just disabilities that children already have or parents have, or just by being in trauma, you have protective rights that protect you that are not being followed in the court. So these are the federal laws. They are amazing laws. They are protective rights, but the courts are ignoring them. So that is actually treason on American soil. How can you have a court that doesn't follow the laws? I mean, if you think about how crazy that is, and something as fundamental as your liberty interest and your fundamental rights to your children, parents have extremely strong God-given rights to their children, their biological children, and we are finding, and I can say this wholeheartedly because after 18 and a half years of court-watching judges all over this entire United States of America, every day of my life from Monday through Friday, I'm in courts all over the country, and I can tell you that I witness it daily. I witness the damages. They're making decisions, these judges, that are just insane. Nobody would make the decisions that these judges make, and it's not based in any fact or law. They're not generally evidentiary hearings. There's just a lot of problems. There's no accountability, and these are the issues that we're fighting in Washington, D.C., which the Lord has opened up a huge door, working alongside RFK Jr. now that he's in position as a secretary of HHS, and implementing change, both my sister and I as leaders in MAHA Action with regards to, fixing the policies and by enforcing the actual laws. So we don't need to make new laws, we're just enforcing them. And that's what Family Justice and Accountability Act is. It is a complete model. I've also began something called Make America's Children Safe Again, which is amazing, and Kids for Congress, where literally we brought countless kids to Congress, to Washington, D.C. I brought large amounts of families. I could just say, hey guys, we're going to D.C., and I got them flying in from all over the country. It just blows my mind because there's hundreds of thousands of victimized families that are willing to come, and they're coming in droves, and we are going to our Congress members. We're getting bipartisan support, but most importantly, working directly with, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That's been the biggest asset of all because he can actually begin enforcing and implementing what needs to be done.
I want you to talk about that a little bit more in depth on the MAHA action
Sure.
that you're taking. That she was just down there recently in Washington, D.C. with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And a lot of other names down there you were involved with. But what was it wasn't just pat each other on the back and have a lunch. What was that about when you all met together?
It's amazing. I started the first MAHA. I was invited to a private MAHA. It's called MAHA Action. It's a private event. The first one was actually Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s birthday celebration. It was really amazing. What I love about it the most.
How old is he?
I don't know his age, actually. I don't know. He's up there, though, but he looks great. But I don't know his age off the top of my head. I'm sorry. But he he gives all glory to God. It's just amazing.
does.
He talks about how his family basically disowned him. It's pretty amazing, and how he's just, because of this cause, he's wanting to change the health of America, and of course this aspect of it, which would be the social side, health and human services side, where I get to be right in there. And yes, you're correct. I mean, it is a lot of rubbing elbows and meeting a lot of these people, but it's really great to see. We know that there's a lot of corruption throughout our government, but it's so nice to see these people who literally are doing their very best to put God first, praying, and the people that we're getting to meet, and we've become very, very close with a lot of these people, but really strongly believe in the Lord, and we have a passion, and we want to change this country.
We're talking about in Washington. In this
DC.
Maha meeting that you met with John F. Kennedy, with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Yes.
We're praying.
Yeah, praying
prayer
and giving
warriors.
glory to God, and yes, 100%. And there's been so many that I've gotten to meet. Trump's top advisors, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s top advisors. We've got photographs everywhere, all over social media at this time. Re-invites. We're doing a lot that's called the Golden Age. That is a huge event that happens once a month in D.C., and we continuously keep getting these wonderful invites back. Recently, because they're so encouraging and so believing in what we're doing, I was able to bring, I had to cut off my list because we have so many people, but they allowed me to bring 40 people under my organization, that are volunteers to what I'm doing. And we got a special invite to this amazing gala at the Builders Museum that was just unbelievably beautiful and outstanding building. And they all got to come dressed up. It was just really fun, and meeting all these different people and talking to these different people. I mean, obviously, it's not for just the fun of it. We're really doing some serious work and change. And it's the glory of God. It's the favor of the Lord.
That's favor.
Because normally these people are going to be people who are donating big money to be involved in things of this nature. But I know that the Lord just really wants us to get the knowledge and the wisdom that he's given to us into this country, desperately.
So you go down there with your sister, who we've had on this show, and
Yeah.
another tremendous story. I mean, between both of you, your mothers should be extremely proud. And you go down to Washington, and you got the family set thing that you're working on. You have the health thing that you're working on. How high can you guys go?
I think what happened.
What's next? Where do you go after you meet, everybody that you have down there?
Peter, I really believe that what happened is that when I was going back and forth to D.C. and dealing with the Congress members on both sides, even though they were very encouraging and supportive, and we were getting a lot of bipartisan support, they're not doing what they need to do. And the Lord said, that's okay. I'm going to take you as high as you can possibly go. We're dealing with Trump, and we're dealing with RFK Jr. I don't know how much higher, besides the Lord himself, that we could go in this country. I'm not putting them on this platform, but just saying that this is exactly what is needed, because there are so many people out there. There are very bad advocates out there that are trying to keep the system going the way it is, because it's bringing in trillions of dollars on the backs of our children in this country and the backs of our families, which is working for the enemy. That's not working for the Lord. Obviously, God cares about family. So that's one aspect of it. The other thing is that, like, getting rid of some of these people that just keep going to Congress, wanting to do these new bills and these new laws, and all they do is trap you into the family court system, where you continue to give these judges all this power and authority that they shouldn't have had. There's no accountability over them at all, zero. The system is so poorly built, and it is intentionally built to continue this, what I call trafficking, child trafficking, and human and family trafficking. And now he's allowed us to have these favorable doors, where now I am literally able to, he's got my whole brief. I have a whole brief and a binder with everything that we're doing, and giving children a voice for the first time in human history, going before their Congress members, telling them, little kids saying, I went through hell, and I want the Family Justice and Accountability Act, and I want this implemented.
So you're actually going up against these judges?
I've been going after these judges for 18 and a half years directly in their courtrooms, yeah. But this is like now dealing with Congress members and members of Congress and politicians, and then the higher up. But the best place to be, the very best place to be, is not even to have to deal with Congress members. We are their boss. I mean, we the people are their boss,
Right.
and they've switched that on us.
Right.
So people feel like we're inferior to them, and it's really
Right.
not supposed to be. And of course, we should always be mutually overly respectful.
Right.
But we need to know our place. And I know that part of what this assignment is that God has us doing is to empower the people, to teach the people your rightful place. And this comes with knowing your authority in Christ and knowing that this country was built on
That's it.
foundationally.
What the country was built on and our authority in Christ.
Yes.
That's, to me, is the ultimate authority.
Yeah, and that's all about, repentance individually and corporately as well, because I firmly believe that the enemy wouldn't have this legal door into destroying homes the way he does if there weren't certain aspects and things that we need to deal with individually and corporately as a body. And teaching others, and that is a part of the ministry that we do. It's not just implementing everything and having credentials and all this wonderful stuff that the Lord allows us to have, but also I bring people back to, okay, it's not my place to tell you what sins you're committing. That's not my place, okay, unless the Lord shows me and I can speak into people's lives. But we need to say, Lord, what are you showing me here? Why is this allowed? Why is this legal door open? Because I could do the same thing in one person's case that I do in another, and this one wins and this one doesn't, and I'll just pray. I'll say, Lord, because I care about these kids.
Right.
What's going on here? And he'll say, redirect that person in this area. This is something that I'm looking for. This is some change that I need. This is something maybe on the family line, whatever it might be, an active sin that's happening right now, and I can't bless that person because they're in active sin, but they're saying that they belong to me. Right? We can't do that. We can't be hypocrites. So we have to do what God tells us. And this is making more change. And I see it because we're having more, where God is giving us more and more favor and authority in this position.
I'm just trying to understand why judges act why they act this way. For what reason are not helping the child and the family? I can't see it's about money. What is it?
I believe it is 100% money, and child trafficking is
It's
a big business.
Child trafficking.
It's a big business. And people say, oh, the family court is broken. That's such nonsense.
Right.
These are supposed to be intelligent people, bar association and master's degrees, and you can't be that foolish when you hear this child's being abused. Here's a criminal record. Okay, give the child to that person. Like, that's not, I wouldn't call that ignorance. I would completely call that, you can call it maybe incompetence, but I would say that is intentional. That is intentional when you see
Right.
case after case after case. And one of the things that happens is not outside of family court where you have homes and both parents are fine and we have something that's called alternative to family court. If both parents, God forbid, split up, they can parent their children in a safe and healthy, holistic way, right? Maybe they're not together as a family, but they can do that. In family court, 9 times out of 10, I'm seeing that there's always one abuser. That's why in family court, 50-50 or shared custody is not a safe way to go. It's just not safe at all. It doesn't work.
People want to know out there why, and last time we had you on, you explained it, but I'd love you to
Yeah.
do it again.
Sure.
What got you started in this?
So-
How many years has it been, and really, what got you? Because it's not like, oh, you wake up every day and it's bed of roses.
Yeah, no, it's
You're in a
not.
battle every day.
It's an adversarial workplace every day.
How'd you do it? What happened?
So, my son is 18 and a half. He's 18 and a half. He's 18 in October, and I dealt with the family court myself and could not believe it. And I began advocating almost immediately because I was in such shock because I was up against someone with a criminal record, with a lot of problems, and coming from a good family, and I couldn't protect my son. It was insane. I thought this will be easy breezy. He
Right.
took me to court. This will be in and out, and this will be done. No, almost 15 years of torture, literal. And my son, what we went through was unbelievable. It's in my first book, Punished for Protecting the Injustice System of Family Court, and it birthed a movement. It birthed so much. I believe God doesn't allow us to go through horrible things without a reason. Without
I agree 100%.
without producing something good in the earth and so on. And it's birthed what we have now, so I can't tell you how many, my son is protected and he's home and thank God, but I can't tell you how many children have been protected, have not been taken, have been returned back. We see this all the time.
You see, that's your joy. You get
Yeah,
joy
it
from
brings
that.
me great- it
So
brings
you
me
had to
great
go
joy,
through,
yeah.
as I say, you had to
Yeah.
go through the furnace.
Yeah.
And for that,
Yeah.
for a reason, and I'm going to take it a step further, you went through the furnace and doing all this to glorify God.
Yeah.
You're seeing results among family and children that money can't buy.
And also, you know what, Peter, I don't think I would have ever known, like in our own naiveness of like living
Right.
life, who would have ever thought that this insanity is going on in this country? You know, and now they're like
Yeah.
revealing the Epstein files and all this, and I believe there's a lot of distraction in that. There's a lot, we need several interviews to go through years of work, but there's a lot, but there's such disgusting things happening in this country. I have seen biological fathers that are molesting their own children growing in rapid rates. It's even women are doing this kind of behavior. There's just sick perversion in this country, and I'm not saying it's not all over the world, but God has me focused on this country, this nation
Right.
at this time, and that's why it does just bring me great joy to see that oh my God, we got a kid home. Thank God, or thank God they never had that child taken, because even when you get them home, then you're still working with children. They've been through hell. You know, you take children from their families, they don't know what hit them. They're saying, you know, so-and-so's hurting me, and they ignore it. But you're teaching these children, if you see something, say something. If somebody hurts you, tell somebody. But they do that, and they get hurt further. You know what I'm saying? So, so yes, it brings me tremendous joy every time we save a child, every time we get children back home to their protective homes, their loving families.
And you fully believe that this administration now, the Trump administration, is actually doing things about this?
Yeah, I mean, I can assure you with with everything with RFK Jr. right now and Maha and all that we're doing with that is a definite
That's
move.
wonderful.
With regards to Trump, I did have somebody hand, I can't say specific names, but I did have somebody hand I have an executive order that's extracted from the FJAA model. It just cuts it down to just like the main points. And that was handed to him in Mar-a-Lago. Which I'm invited to anytime I want to go, by the way.
No kidding.
Yeah. I'm not going yet, but I'm invited anytime I want to go. And that's been handed to him several weeks ago, but it's a process, it's a process.
Sure.
So we're working on all that and the good thing about it is that, they do background checks on both my sister and I. They wouldn't have let me bring the army that I brought down there if they
Right.
didn't, but we're constantly reinvited. We're on the list for everything at this point. And so they know who we are and so
Right.
on and so forth, where they know that, you have to earn that. It's amazing. In the midst of corruption, you have to earn that respect and that trust in that place.
I could imagine.
So you can do your work.
I
Yeah.
could only imagine that they probably know your blood type.
Yeah, they probably do. God knows.
So how can people support the Family Justice Accountability?
Well, there's so many wonderful things. We have launched. We have one of our we have so many team leads all over the country, by the way. You can go to Facebook and just type in Family Justice and Accountability Act and find your state. Join us. We have free services every Wednesday on Zoom. You can come there. We do congressional teachings on how to deal with your Congress members. All of this is free. I do have paid services through my business, Punish for Protecting Incorporated, where I directly help families, and I have all kinds of amazing things that we do strategy-wise and helping them with my background and so on, and consulting and so on and so forth. But you can also go to what's called, the official MAXA website, and you can go there, and we have all kinds of awesome merchandise that has been created and designed for MAXA. MAXA is Make America's Children Safe Again. And the thing is that come into the Wednesday nights because they're free. You're going to learn so much, how to protect your own families, how to protect yourselves, how to be a part of this huge...
Where do they go?
They can go to our Zoom. So the best way to do it is Family Justice and Accountability Act on Facebook, and that is how you can get the link for Zoom on Wednesday nights, completely free.
Right.
Back and forth to D.C. D.C.'s been very, very welcoming and very, very good to me. Let's put it that way. The Lord told me to start going to D.C., and he wasn't kidding.
My goodness.
He prepared me for this months and months ago, and we've done all this work in like 6 months.
I'm impressed.
6 months.
I'm impressed. You guys, both you and your sister, working like Trump.
Yeah, I know,
Nonstop.
I think, really,
it's
like,
like,
I'd like
where's
to
the
have his
energy coming
budget.
from? I got to get a bunch. You eat a lot of plants now. Francesca, why don't you tell the family out there? The last thing I'd like you to do is just tell the family out there that are hurting
Yes.
that there is hope.
Oh my gosh, there's so much hope. And I deal with families every day that are in these tragic situations, and we do build them up. I mean, we've gotten people that just don't want to get out of bed now that are in D.C. with me, kicking butt with me. Like, it's been so amazing. Kicking devil booty, we like to call it. And just building them back up. I mean, I went through it myself, so I know what that suffering feels like when you can't protect your own child. And that's why I have this passion to make sure that we can protect every single child in this country, and how much how important they are, but how important the parents are and how important the whole biological family is. God put these children into biological family for a reason. He knew who their parents should be. And, you know, in comparison to, let's say, how many parents are genuinely a biological where they'd be a danger, it's not what they're trying to make people think, because they take them from the protective and give them to the parent that's dangerous of some sort. So we stop all of that. So there's so much hope for you. And also, I always like to encourage people in their gifts and their calling, because you're being noticed in this organization and everything that we're doing. We've made historical change. It's monumental what's happening, and we're the first to have ever done this. It just blows my mind every day that God continues to put us as forerunners in what we're doing here. It's
I'm amazed.
phenomenal.
I'm amazed. This is absolutely phenomenal what she is doing and accomplishing down in Washington. And it's not an easy job, as you have heard over this show and the previous shows that we had with Francesca. It is not an easy job, but the joy that she gives the families, she gets the joy back in double. I believe that. And because she has a God-centered life, I want to thank you all for watching. God bless you. We'll see you soon.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.